With the experience and resources for cases throughout Louisiana, Walters Papillon Thomas Collins, LLC, is proud to support LPB, specializing in personal injury and wrongful death, with information at lawbr.net.
As I shared, this administration is focused on efficiency, quality service, and innovation. And so this goal led us to engage Management Partners, a consulting firm specializing in helping government organizations improve their operations. They identified $7 million in revenue based on operational changes, adjusting some of our other user fees to cover actual costs, and reductions in our employee health care costs. And so we are now in the implementation phase of these saving measures, which should be music to your ears. Now, with the assistance of Management Partners, each one of our departments now has established a formal annual operational work plan with performance measures. And as your Mayor President, it is my ongoing goal to make certain that services are being delivered in the most effective and cost-efficient way. And it is the mission of our department leaders. In the next 4 years, I anticipate $25 million of revenue gains from our efficiency improvements. As you recall, last year I started my presentation by citing Move EBR as a big win for 2018. Well, in 2019, it is still a big win. It's still a big deal. We implemented a 2.85 multiplier for the program management contract, $150 million in bond sales at a 3.2 interest rate, and we completed the project prioritization ahead of schedule. Now, you can access the initial schedule of all of our projects online at brla.gov. Our belief is in transparency. So we want you to be connected with everything that we're doing in city parish government. You know, someone recently said that every day it seems that a new weather or extreme weather catastrophe happens somewhere in America. Well, for many in our region, that day came in 2016, as you recall. And our administration has been committed to doing our part to improve water management. Flood mitigation projects are approved and in progress, including the Comite Diversion Canal, $334 million, the Amite tributaries, $255 million, our stormwater master plan, $15 million. In addition, we have implemented a strategic maintenance plan to address street drainage. My goal is to decrease flood potential for every household by 2 feet in 2025. While I cannot mandate a healthy lifestyle, I certainly want our citizens to prosper in every area of their lives, including their health. I am so proud of the work that we have achieved through our Mayor's Healthy City Initiative, Healthy BR, as we call it. We are building a culture of health. We received $2.5 million to address food access and secured over $4.5 million in grants that were dispersed to local nonprofits, many of you in the room, and businesses in disinvested communities. Through the Go Get Healthy program, over 15,000 units of fresh foods were sold in the 70805 zip code. This year, we anticipate the announcement of at least one grocery store in a disinvested community through our work with Hope Enterprise Corporation and their Fresh Food Retailer Initiative. In November, we made a significant health announcement. In 2016, Baton Rouge was ranked #1 in the country for the rate of AIDS diagnosis. By 2018, we were ranked #10, with the rate of AIDS diagnosis cut nearly in half. And this is due largely to our administration's efforts to increase HIV testing through opt-out testing in local area emergency rooms. In the next 4 years, we will work with our community partners to remove Baton Rouge from the top 10 list of cities with HIV and AIDS. Most recently, healthcare and economic development expanded in North Baton Rouge with the announcement of Oceans Healthcare in the former surgical center in Howell Place. We are addressing behavioral health and creating 100 jobs and putting a building back into commerce. Speaking of behavioral health, this community is going to lose a gem of someone in Jan Kosofsky, who has contributed to the fabric of behavioral health and mental health issues in Baton Rouge. Jan, we celebrate you and we thank you for your contributions. In addition, our Department of Human Development and Services continues to reach out and offer a response by impacting the lives of nearly 50,000 residents, contributing over $30 million to improving the quality of life outcomes. Better outcomes for our community dictate intentionality. They just don't happen. And that's why I have been intentional about addressing pockets of disinvestment in our city. You know, sometimes people say, well, it seems like all the mayor cares about is North Baton Rouge and other areas. Well, the truth of the matter is I care about every zip code in this community, every zip code, and each and every one of you. But it also means that in order for us to lift up this city, to lift up this parish, we cannot ignore those areas of disinvestment. When we lift them up, we lift up the entire city and parish. Our communities are a reflection of many decades of investment or the lack thereof. And so my administration has demonstrated an unprecedented commitment towards driving equitable development throughout our city and parish. Last year, $7.3 million in community development grants utilizing federal HUD dollars were awarded to local nonprofits, supportive service organizations, and community developers that assist low and moderate income residents with shelter and basic needs, housing rehabilitation, employment skills, and supportive services. Out of 32 grant candidates, Baton Rouge was one of only four U.S. cities awarded a $29.5 million grant by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for use redeveloping the Ardendale, Anchored East, Fairfield, Smiley Heights, and Melrose East neighborhoods. It's called the Choice Neighborhood Grant. Jay Daniel, I saw you in the crowd. Thank you for your leadership on that, and thank you for all the partners who work. This is going to be transformative. Do you hear me? Almost $30 million to transform a community. We're only one of 4 cities in the United States of America. You might have recently heard about our bus rapid transit grant. We are doing it, Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is the recipient of a $15 million U.S. Department of Transportation grant covering 37% of the bus rapid transit project's anticipated $42 million cost. Now, this 9-mile line connects Plank Road to Nicholson Drive with stops along the way in North Baton Rouge, downtown, and LSU's campus. You can't beat that with a stick. The bus rapid transit serves as the centerpiece of the Imagine Plank Road Corridor Master Plan. Now, I don't know if you've heard about the Plank Road Corridor Master Plan. Some of you all grew up in that area. Some of you, how many of you all went to Estruma High School? Then you know all about Johnny Koch went to Estruma. Johnny, you the only person in the room went to Estruma High School? Who else went to Estruma? I see somebody back there. I can't see who it is. But okay. But then you know about Plank Road and some of the rest of them. How many ever been to Tony's Seafood? Oh yeah, everybody in the room. then you know about Plank Road. And we are getting ready to turn Plank Road upside down and inside out with investment. I see Gino here today. I don't know if Chris Tyson is here with Build Baton Rouge, but thank you for your leadership. If you haven't seen the design and the vision for this Plank Road Corridor project, go to the Build Baton Rouge website and you'll be able to look at it. It's transformative. And so working with organizations like Build Baton Rouge on proposed developments like this with partners is certainly transforming our community. Now, make no mistake about it, Baton Rouge, this capital city, is Louisiana's economic engine. 6 industries: trade, transportation and utilities, education and health services, government, construction, professional and business services, and leisure and hospitality represent 10% or more of the jobs. In 2019, over $1.9 billion was injected into East Baton Rouge Parish's economy. According to Brookings, Baton Rouge ranked number 10 in the country for our millennial population. That's why I was so ecstatic when Baton Rouge was selected by eBay in 2019 for their Retail Revival program. According to eBay, now listen to this, they were drawn to Baton Rouge by our entrepreneurial spirit and our vibrant culture. Retail Revival helps local retailers find their place and thrive in the global market while deepening neighborhood connections and contributing to the economic vibrancy of our community. And the list goes on, but I want to talk about one of our challenges before my time runs out. You know, in 2019, we had some challenges in the sphere of public safety. Building a safe community is a challenge, but it's also a priority. Our homicides went down in 2019 from 91 to 76. But for me, as your mayor president, that's still too many. Still too many. In 2020, I believe that the number will continue to decrease. And I look for months in 2020, not just 1 month, but months in 2020, where my phone does not ring from dispatch telling me there's been a homicide. Former Attorney General Eric Holder said a decade ago, violence is something that affects communities big and small, and people of all races and colors. It is an American problem. I would add that it is a complex problem as well. Thomas App, the author of Bleeding Out, emphasizes hotspots policing, focused deterrence, crime prevention through environmental design, and street outreach, coupled with procedural justice. Chief Paul and the great men and women of the Baton Rouge Police Department have developed a comprehensive strategy for 2020, which reflects many of APP's recommendations. Preventive strategies using technology, community engagement, and smart deployment. While community policing remains a strong and effective pillar for our police department, they will be intensified efforts by the Street Crimes Unit and Narcotics Division to extract key offenders and disrupt and dismantle the most violent drug trafficking organizations in our city. And it's through the implementation of new technology, such as the Real-Time Crime Center, the new computer-aided dispatch system, and the new records management system, that our police department can connect with other public safety agencies and also get a cohesive understanding of critical situations as they unfold, which saves lives and protects property. One great example of the use of technology is about to roll out in March in the Sherwood Forest neighborhood, where they have real-time police cameras, license plate readers at every entrance of their subdivision, and our police force will have both recorded and live video feeds of every vehicle and pedestrian that enters and leaves the neighborhood. This is a pilot program, and I want to thank the Sherwood Sherwood Forest Crime Prevention District for the largest pilot program of its kind in Louisiana. I have conversations about crime quite frequently, and one of the comments that I continue to say is that while law enforcement and our great police officers here in Baton Rouge are one of the components to fight against crime and violence, they are not the only component. You see, we cannot police our way out of crime. There are times when incidents happens in folks' homes because people don't know how to handle situations, or because we have factors like mental health issues, factors like poverty, systemic neglect, morality. I can do a lot of things, but I can't legislate morality. In closing, on December 28th, I invited citizens from across our parish to join me for prayer, praise, and gratitude, a city united. It was an interfaith gathering where, through prayer and music and reflection, we focused on the Baton Rouge we desire to be. We utilized the principles of prayer, praise, and gratitude, which are part of the fabric of most faith traditions, to infuse our vision and our hope for our city and in our parish. In the words of Margaret Wheatley, there is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Let me encourage you to dismiss the pessimistic rancor of yesterday and unite around the goals that we all share for a bright future and great lives for our entire community. As the leader of this great city and parish, I won't look back, I won't let up, I won't slow down, back away, or be still. I will keep my eye on the prize for each and every one of you to build a community of peace, prosperity, and progress. God bless you.
The mayor is willing to take a few questions. If you'll notice, there are microphones in the stands, two sides. But we do need the first questioner to turn the microphones on. Must have done a great job.
No questions. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, I had a question about the Bridge Center. If you could give us an update on what's the latest on the Bridge Center. Also, can you talk to us a little bit about development around Mid-City, specifically Baton Rouge General, and maybe is there some correlation between those two things?
I'll work on all three of those questions you just asked. Let's start with the first one, the Bridge Center. I am having a meeting with the new executive director of the Bridge Center in the upcoming weeks. It's my understanding that they are looking for a facility, and as you bring up Mid-City, one of the facilities that has been given strong consideration is certainly the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Next, I think you talked about development in Mid-City. You know, Mid-City is thriving. Where is Jerry? It's thriving. They're getting ready for their next parade, but I will tell you, adjacent to me, and in fact, there's a young man who is about to develop a major project on the corner of Florida and Acadian, right across the street from the hospital. This young man, this young entrepreneur, had a vision for developing a business. I connected him with the Louisiana Department of Economic Development, with our local chamber, Donnie Miller, and what almost seemed like a dream deferred became a manifested dream for him. So pretty soon you'll see that development. So there are a lot of positive developments that are taking place in Mid-City. Some that I can't share with you at the moment. You know, one thing I've learned about economic development, you can be on the brink of a project and then everybody comes to you and says, don't say anything about it yet, right? And so one of the other adages that I have for my team is that loose lips sink ships. So I don't want to sink any promising ventures that are on the horizon, but I will say, stay tuned.
Mayor, can I ask you a comment that I want to really compliment you on your support of Breck and Corey Wilson and the whole team they have there. The question I have is, I've read a lot in the business report about J.R. Ball's column about our assessor not assessing property at their fair market value and losing a lot of property tax money for the city parish. What can you say about that, or how can we get that changed, I think?
Well, I certainly think it's worth a conversation with the assessor. Let me tell you, we had a staff meeting the other day, and in order for us to accomplish a lot of the goals that benefit you as citizens in our entire community, we need to generate revenues. And no one looks forward to another tax as a revenue generating measure. So it's important that we capture all the dollars that we can. So certainly revisiting that with the assessor would be a significant step in the right direction. I was looking for you, Marv. Oh, there you went.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Last question?
I live in South Baton Rouge, and I'm very disturbed with your efforts to overturn the legal election. I understand that you don't like it, but had the vote gone the other way, we would have had to stand down and gone with the vote, as we do in a democracy. And so, what I would ask for you is for you to accept our election, our vote, and let that go. It's a democracy, right?
It is a democracy, and the action steps that I have taken are part of the democratic process as well. Let me share this with you, and you heard me make a statement earlier that I am concerned about every zip code in this city and parish, and that includes the proposed area which I think you are referencing. When I ran for mayor, I never did say I support a breakaway city. I committed to the citizens of this city and parish that I would work tirelessly to keep our community together. You heard me make some statements about what can happen with change when a community works together. We can't run away from one another. We're in this together. Your success and my success, believe it or not, is connected in a very interesting way. And so I want the best for everyone in the city. And as mayor president, it is my obligation to do what I think is best as the leader of this city and parish for everyone. That doesn't mean we're not going to debate it, sir. We're not going to debate it. Now, if you want to talk to me later, you can, but we're not going to debate it, okay? But I'm concerned about every citizen of this city and parish. And I can't tell you how many citizens are concerned that they didn't have a right to exercise their vote on a significant matter of this size.
With the experience and resources for cases throughout Louisiana, Walters Papillon Thomas Collins, LLC, is proud to support LPB, specializing in personal injury and wrongful death, with information at lawbr.net.